This is the start of something beautiful, something scary. This is going to be a one-on-one session for me, Evan, who's playing the storykeeper for Call of Cthulhu, and Rose, one of our investigators. This is how it all starts for Rose's character. Now, before we officially start, Rose, if you want to state your character's name, kind of
Yes,
profession.
I am Charles Felsam. I am a German immigrant who was born in Frankenmuth, Michigan. Being in the middle of nowhere, Michigan, it's cold. I tend to stay inside and want to paint and draw. Um, I'm now beginning to get into sculpture building myself, but I still primarily prefer to draw with oils and paint, or and sorry, draw with graphite and paint with oil.
So, as we know,
And
dear
that's
listeners, unfortunately, the creative types are always the ones that get caught by the old ones or the elder gods in their cosmic game of playing with the little toys known as humanity. But we want that stop from being a fun time for you listeners. Let's start with the setting. It's been 4 years since the First World War shook the very foundation and core of what everyone thought was civility, was how far people would go, not knowing that humanity has a very unique gift to push the boundaries in those specific areas. But of course, no one saw this one coming, so I doubt they'll see the next one coming. Except for a select few, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. Our day starts in Mexico, specifically in a small town. What was the name of that small town again?
Hightown, New Mexico.
Hightown, New Mexico. Being in the early 1920s, it is not a bustling metropolis such as New York to the east or Chicago to the west. It's just starting to find its legs an inhabitable place for the descendants of those who came over on the Mayflower and any other boats that followed. One in particular is our artist in question, Charles Selsom. It's bark o'clock, apparently.
Yes, it's always part
Do you have any pets, Charles?
No, I do not myself.
All right. Where do you find yourself at 10 o'clock in the morning on an average day?
I find myself at the local bakery or store that has some food for sale, and I tend to just enjoy my time there before I go off to my little, I call it a hut in the middle of nowhere. It's a very nice adobe house, and then spend the rest of my day just painting and trying to forget the things I've seen in the big cities like New York, and just too hodgepodge for me.
Creativity cannot be stifled, it needs to flow. And unfortunately, the city has proven itself a very stifling environment, which is why you came out here. Also, the nightmares. But again, we're getting ahead of ourselves. So today at Clock, you are currently sampling the newest pie pastries of various fruits that are being sold. And you're a regular here, so they know you by name, and even the young girl behind the counter whose family owns a particular bake, Norma, she calls you Chuck, and she is how old did you say your character was? 27. She's she's 15, and it is obvious that she has a crush on you. You don't even have to roll that because whenever you come in, it's just like Chuck. If there's anyone else in there, if her parents need her help, she'll take the tongue lashing later. Charles Seltzman has just walked into the room, and so she's currently standing there. She says, "You should try the strawberries. I think we finally but the recipe and you don't really taste the seeds anymore.
Oh, yes, thank you very much. I'll definitely try the strawberries this time.
And she lights up. I mean, like, there's never been an instance, I mentioned, in your past that you were ever rude to this girl, but it's like any form of is just better than the last one. Almost like the equivalent of, oh my god, he touched me. It's like, oh my god, he held my hand for minutes. You know, not that you've gotten that far, of course. She's far too shy to even talk to you on the other side of the counter. But she smiles and she gathers up mini fruit pies and wraps them up and takes them up to the front counter where her father, um, Jorge, is waiting.
Good
Oh,
morning, Jorge.
you. Good morning, Mr. Selsom. How does this find you on this fine day?
It's just another warm, boring day.
You know, there was a time I was probably young as you, maybe not quite as young, but a time when I found sunny days during as well, he says as he rings you up. But you're also going to find that as you mature, like a fine wine, the early days and the bomb days, really few and far between.
Well, I'll guess I will come and cross those bridges when I get to hopefully be as ripe age as you, old man. But for now, I wish I could get over this really crippling inability to create.
Did you not finish your most recent statue? Norma, speak up.
No, I tore it all down and I'm starting from scratch.
Mr. Selson, I understand that the creative process is important. If my wife was to bring out a plate of peach cobbler and the peach not inside the crust, of course I would send it back. But if one has a tiny little dent in it, I do not throw the whole batch away.
Yeah, that would make sense. But that is where our craft is different. I do
Well,
appreciate the delicious pies.
and we appreciate your patronage, and we also appreciate that your creativity cannot be held accountable to standards. He's genuine. You can tell from his life experience, he understands that not every single job is the same. And even though one may be creating art, and one may be pies, or one might be digging holes in the ground, it's different for each individual. It's what you put into it. He hands you your bag. That will be $2.
I always say that, and I pull out $5 from my. But I always pay you what I think you deserve, and I give them the $5.
This is one of the reasons we truly enjoy your patronage, but you have to remember, if you give me $5 every time, there will eventually come a time where you will not have $2 to give me.
So I grab the pies after I leave the $5. I'm like, yes, I may run into where I can't pay you back, but at least then I can work for you, maybe. As I step outside the door.
Sir, Mr. Sansom, if you were to come and work for me, I would possibly have three perfect pies every week.
And they would be the best pies you could sell at $5 a pop.
I guess I cannot argue with that. I'll see you tomorrow, my friend. Good luck on your stifling, and the show goes well.
Thank you very much.
Is unfortunately remind you of something that you've been dreading. Evil Pie Town is mostly known for the pastry due to the abundance of fruit groves. There is a town square, and there is a few shops, and one of those shops is a gallery. And your work is currently sitting there, waiting to be seen. I say waiting to be seen due to the fact that your art has been in there for about a week and a half, and no one has really made any attempts to come and look at it. I mean, the Pie family, they pie. Orma tries to come by every day, and when she can't, you know it's only due to the fact that her parents have told her she went there the last 3 days. But everyone else looks at your current artwork, and they don't really tell their friends to come and take it. As a matter of fact, as you're approaching a small town, you the only person at the gallery is the security man who was put on security every day at the same time. He's doing exactly what he does. Same time every day. He's sleeping.
So the security guard is sleeping, huh?
Yeah, normally that means like there's no one in the gallery to like be awake for.
I would like to pull out a small tube of like paint and put
Hmm.
some in his hand and tickle his nose.
Okay. We have made it to officially the first skill check and roll of the game, everybody.
Ooh.
So that would probably be under sleight of hand. So yeah, go ahead and grab your percentile because, as we know, veterans of Call of Cthulhu, you roll with percentiles, not just d20s, not d6s. Go ahead and give me first a stealth. You're trying not to wake him.
So I know I failed, but I did roll a 69.
69. So as you're thinking about this, you pull out the paint tube, and just as you're squeezing it onto the brush as you're walking forward, or you don't have the brush, you're just going to put it in his hand, right?
Yeah, I was just gonna pour it a little bit into his hand.
My mistake. For some reason, my brain thought that you were going to like paint a face on his face, but
No,
no. So what's the color of the paint really quickly that you decided to use?
it would have been a probably like a red, like a beet red.
A beet red. Okay. So as you pull out the you pull out the red paint and you're unscrewing the cap and step on a dry twig that you did not see because you were just so wrapped up in the like how dare he sleep on his watch watching my creations, and like you're justified, but unfortunately you hear the crack and you look on it and you see the twig under your feet and you look up and the security guard is awake and he's looking at you.
I
Is
was like,
there
so you know how to pay attention.
I know how to pay attention when there's people here, sir.
Well, don't blame me. Where's the sign waving? Didn't I give you a sign like 2 days ago?
Not in my job description. It's a way of signs. I'm just here to make sure no one takes anything.
Hmm. Fine. So nobody's come by today.
Well, one person. I don't know if they left or not. But, they were
Really?
here when I was awake. Yeah, yeah. Um, older guy. He, surprising enough, asked of your stuff. Told him it was all the way in the back.
Very interesting.
I know.
So he's not from around here then, I'm guessing.
I didn't recognize him.
Did you see which way he went?
Yeah. He went and he points through the front door of the gallery. And if he was with your stuff, I would assume he went to the back.
I mean, like, he didn't leave.
I didn't see him leave. Like I said, I saw him go in, but he's like been the only
Well,
person that's come by.
of course he didn't see him leave. You've been sleeping. And I just rush in, all fashionista like.
What a dick. The security guard as he leans back and pulls his cap over his eyes and instantly resumes his silent nap. As you move through the gallery, it is surprisingly big. It used to be an old adobe based cathedral, but when the newer churches came into town with the sudden rise of popularity of people moving out here, the locals decided not to rip it down, but to convert it. And so that's why it has some space. And it looks like some makeshift walls have been put up so that everyone like, hangs their artwork or their craft has their own kind of little section. And as you make your way through what used to pews, um, you know that your stuff is not much at the altar, but closer to what would have been the priest's rectory, like private little office. That's like kind of off in the corner. Because when you first brought your work in, you actually flash back to that moment, and like the curator is just giving you a look, going, "Want to put this here? Isn't there somewhere else you could place this?" And he motions towards your recent metal sculpture. if you like to describe what that looks like.
It looks like a humanoid figure, but has extra arm limbs and a face that doesn't have a true expression, doesn't have eyes. But you see like the divots of where eyes would have been, and you see almost like the divots of what would have been a mouth, but there is no mouth. And
And
it's just all in like black metal.
painted, or did you like use some chemically altered metals?
I if I found a way to make it look black, either by adding certain other metals to my combination or something like that.
And the curator, he's a short man, and he's just looking up at it like it's going to fall on top of him if he touches it. I mean, we is there maybe you could put it in the back courtyard? Pretty much the graveyard, which is the only part of the that has not been changed.
So I'm hearing the director, the guy talking about moving my artwork outside.
Well, when you first brought him this piece, yes,
Oh, okay.
it's still currently outside, and he's very hesitant that it moved inside. And you know that like if you take it to the back, yes, people would see it, but only when they go to like visit their loved ones or pass on.
Right. Okay. Um, I'll just walk up to the man and just like try to put my hand on his shoulder.
And you go to put your hand on his shoulder. You do make contact. He jumps a little bit because he was looking deeply at your statue, and normally that's a good thing. But the fact that he jumps and you see that he's got like light swirls under his eyes means that he's just staring at your statue like there's something wrong with it.
Hey, how do you like this one? It was one of my first major statues.
Well, it is very different from the paintings you have brought. Not that different, but at least the paintings you were colorful.
Yes, yes. I feel like the color has been taken away from me, taken
Ah,
away from what my art can be.
yes. The chance to find yourself as all creators must. But are you sure you want it inside? I mean, put it in the back.
Yes, but if it's out here, who's going to see it? The dead? They
Well,
don't look at artwork.
one would hope not, or else maybe they would come to critique it. uh, I,
I squeeze the shoulders. That's like, yes, we wouldn't want them coming back for any reason, huh?
exactly, exactly. But he then leans in closer. Uh, Mr. Selson, you do understand that this used to be a house of God. You want to put that in there?
I laugh and I'm like, well, I've walked through these doors and I'm still alive. You think artwork is going to what burn everything down?
Smeo says as he kind of crawls himself. And he turns and he looks at the two other workers who help like facilitate and move things and kind of act as like on the spot curators. Where he may be the curator, but they're just like hired hands. And they're just looking at it. It's like, and one of them goes, I don't know how we're going to fit it through the doorway with all those arms. The other one goes, I have an idea. And he leaves and he comes back with a sledgehammer.
Ah, yes, to make the door wider, of course.
He looks at you and it looks like he's about to say something. The curator, the actual curator, and he kind of makes a and he's not trying to be subtle. He's trying to get his attention. Um, so he goes, "See, senor, make the door bigger." And he walks over and he starts flashing the outline a little bit. Finally, they did get it open wide enough to just get your statue in. And they hadn't set up all the partition walls yet. There was some in the corner, and some of the art was still wrapped up that they had brought with them. So they were able to get it to the back, and at first they put it on the pulpit at the altar, where the altar used to be. And for the briefest of moments, you have this vision as you go back to one of your dreams. Yes, a memory with memory. We're inceptioning this bitch.
So I rolled a 63.
A 63. Okay.
I have a
Um,
40.
and
Okay.
you have a dream as they put that statue on the pulpit that you're in this church, but it's not this church. It's something deeper because there's no windows, and it looks like it's being made out of adobe. It looks like it's been carved out of solid rock, but it looks like the inside of a church, complete with the steeple, and there are the pews, and the pews like they are carved from the very floor, coming up in crude, rudimentary ways that are pretty much just there when the congregation needs to sit, not for long periods of time, just for a moment, and your own, and it is freezing. You are so cold, you feel so cold, and you look and you think your statue is still on the pulpit? Going back to the dream, this is actually how you inspired to make it, because there's something that would be the pulpit, and it's moving. It has many limbs, and all outstretching these claw-like fingers, and it's not making a noise like gurgle or roaring or hissing, but it is creaking like its limbs are breaking apart only to form back together again, revealing that this is not made of something flesh or organic, but something material, and it moves like it's alive. One of the hands, one of the limbs reaches out towards you, flips over, and a very crudely made hand from what looks like crystal is beckoning you forward towards it. That's when the dream ends. So, have that flashback, and you suddenly realize you're not standing up anymore. You're on the floor. You fainted. And the curator and one of the assistants are standing over. Sir, Senor Celta, are you okay? And he's kind of seeing you awake. And one's like, should I get this man? Oh, it's just like, no, he's high, he's fine.
I I just start blinking at them, trying to like discern like if I'm really back in the world or if I'm back in that dream world. Um,
You feel his hand on your cheek, so wherever you are, it's physical enough. And he said, "Sir, I do apologize, but we just thought that it would probably look better in the corner and not on the boat. You do understand, right? It's just the heat. The heat has made you faint, correct?" And still some lingering cold on you, but you start to feel the warmth of the desert and the hot, airy air, even inside this adobe former church.
um, I look where the statue is now. Do I feel compelled like if I leave it there, it's an issue?
The statue is still in the pulpit, but they were moving it to the right as if they were going to move it off of the pulpit and put it side closer to, you would assume would be the priest's rectory door.
So it's not like I can get a feeling on if it does move, it has this weird like vibe to my dream.
Give me, give me an intelligence, because I think that's like to like awareness stuff like that.
A 20 and a 0 on my
Okay.
percentile.
And you're not sure if it's still due to the dream world, but you feel now that they've moved the statue, feel that whatever that presence was in your vision, it's much farther away now. It's like the cold is dissipating, and it's dissipating with that. So the warmth is back, but it's still lingering while it's still on the pulpit. You feel it. You feel it in the on the back of your neck. The hairs are standing up just a little bit, but it's not overwhelming before, where you felt that the hand that was beckoning to you was going to reach out and grab you if you hadn't woken up.
I look at him like, maybe, and I'm like rubbing my head as I'm like almost got like this headache. I'm like, let's not put it that far back, but let's keep it close, but not that close. You guys know what I mean?
Uh, see, yes, we do. We know exactly what you mean. He has no idea what you mean, and he helps you up. And he goes, "Senor says, why don't you go and rest off the heat? We are the rest. We will find the perfect place, or what did you call it again?"
It's called a being without form.
At that point, you're back in the present. As you say the name again. What happened afterwards was they sent you home, and you got some water, you took a rest, and you went back to sketching. You were very hesitant to go to bed at night, but you found that this was one of the few times you didn't have an overwhelming range. But as you come across the final resting place of the being without form, as you come across the being without form, you see they had they didn't like push it back in the corner like it would abandon, but it's um it's in front of a former window, and the light silhouettes it and actually kind of catches the obsidian colors of the metal. It is facing towards you, and it is also facing towards someone standing in front of it. They have a wide brimmed hat that they have taken off, and they're holding in their hand. You assume their chest, and even though they have their back to you, it is obvious that this person is not from around here. You can see that they actually have, like you, a very Nordic, Caucasian scalar to their hands, to the back of their neck, but their hair is white. So they're an elderly gentleman, you assume, due to the fact that they are wearing um, standard tweed suit and a sun jacket. You just can't really tell if it's a man or a woman, but women don't normally dress like this. And when they do, it's only found in like eccentric places like New York and Chicago, possibly California.
Okay. Um,
So yeah.
I guess I would just start making my way, not trying to be stealthy or anything.
Mhm. If you're not trying to be stealthy, the individual speaks uh, as you approach. I am very interested in this one piece. Could you tell me the name of it again? And at first,
Uh,
I think, okay. I was just gonna say, you look around. He's not talking to anyone else.
yeah, and my ego wouldn't care that he's not talking to anyone. Since it's my work, I would just come up to him and be like, "Ah, yes, this one. Yes, I've worked hard on this one. It was a very interesting culmination of combining different metals to create this kind of black midnight color to it. It's called the fuck, I forgot what I called it.
The being with no form.
Yeah, there it is. The being with no form.
Yes, what the curator told me before he hurried off. Yes, but interesting enough. And he reaches out and he's about to touch the piece, but then he's an inch from it, and he's putting a finger down right over the metal, just an inch from touching it, and finding the curvature of one of the arms and saying, "But there is form in everything. So I find it interesting that you claim it has no form. Not wrong, but interesting." And I haven't looked at this person's yet, but the voice and the manner of talking sounds familiar. What technique did you use to stain metal?
I chuckle. If I told you that, I'd be a very poor artist right now. Trade secret, my friend.
Trade secret. Spoken like a true artist who doesn't talk to other artists.
You're an artist yourself. Do I?
Yeah.
If I am I looking at him yet that I could like recognize him?
As you turn to casually say you're an artist yourself, um, I need you to roll a. Yeah, go ahead and roll a sanity check.
Two.
Two. Okay, so this is a moment in life you have just been waiting for. Maybe there were times that you told yourself that it would never happen, but deep down, since you knew you were an artist, this man is someone that you've always wanted to meet. And so even he's a little surprised that you don't start fawning over Mark Arrett. It's almost like, in the back of your mind, it's like, are you saying, I'm still dreaming? And the other part is saying, well, of course he could be here. It's my time to shine. It hits you and it doesn't hit you. You just give off this cool, um, chill persona.
Oh wait, my hello. You have inspired me to actually make this kind of artwork before. Oh, good to finally meet you in person, my fellow German, as I should say.
Likewise, likewise, Mr. Charles Seltzer, he says as he extends a hand.
Eagerly, but not like too
No,
try
yeah,
not to be too obvious. Like grab his hand and like, so good to meet you.
yeah, exactly. Like I said, you're for some odd reason you're cool as a cucumber. I don't even think like part of you believes that you're not dreaming right now. But hey, why not just go with the flow? Um, but as you take his hand, it's warm and it's real, and the grip is just as equal, and you can feel the elder calluses on his hand from handling paintbrushes and other artistic material to create his art. And he smiles at you. He's actually pretty impressed by your confidence, and he goes, "I've been following your rise in the artistic world for quite some time, and I was originally hoping to make your acquaintance when I visited New York, but surprised to hear that you have moved all the way down here to Pie Town, New Mexico. I didn't even know there was a Pie Town, New Mexico."
I've heard rumors of it way back in New York, and I had to come. And then I decided I might as well just stay.
And that's when you started doing this. He says he gestures to your statue, and it's for one of the first times ever since you created the being without form. He's not looking at it like this or this. He's looking at it with admiration.
Like, yes, yes, I've been working on this. This is I call it my prototype. I see so many flaws in it now, and I've been trying to recreate these visions and dreams I have, and I can't get it right.
Such is the plight of all artists, says as he steps past you, but like kind of in an inviting manner. He's not dismissing you. Just sit on one of the pews that has been turned into um, a makeshift bench, way more comfortable than the ones you saw in your vision, by the way. And just, please have a seat.
Yeah, I sit next to him.
You're not so much facing your creation anymore, but it's almost like it's looking at you from the corner of its eye, or what would be considered to be perceived an eye, down a row of makeshift walls to display other artwork. But it is the only one. And you've been down here how many years?
Oh, who's to say? It's been I maybe 4 or 5 years. I don't even keep track anymore.
So you would have moved while the war was still. in progress. You probably heard
Yeah.
that the war was. You were probably working on this very piece when you heard that the war had finally ended and that the world was at peace again, and hopefully would never know more of war like this ever again. Spoilers. But yeah,
War never.
this 4 or 5 years. I do know that as a fellow artist, dry spells can come on and last for as long as they must, but 4 or 5 years to create anything else, not even other prototypes, not even just a single sketch here and there.
Nothing worth keeping. In fact, I
Now,
just destroyed my last metal prototype the other day.
he sighs. My friend, if you are going to be the kind of artist I can see you are and that you should be, you can't afford to throw anything away.
I just you I kind of just go like stone cold and dead face, like some things just have to be perfect.
But that's the beauty of art, right? Nothing really is. Nothing is as perfect as anyone wants you to believe it is. It can't be. Just as matter cannot be created or destroyed, it can only change shape. Perfection can only be viewed in the eye of those who know it's not there.
I suppose so. If I get to work on another one, I may just keep it.
Chin up, my friend. There were times when I believed that my creativity would go unassumed and I would die in a nameless grave. Still waiting on the dying part at least, but I would be a fool to say that I was one of the world's greatest artists, but I would be an even bigger fool to ignore the fact that I was an artist. And I see that in you. You know what you are. You just can't seem to grasp exactly how you are it. But this, he moves back, and for a brief moment as you turn, lighting makes it look like your creation steps back. But it can't be. I mean, it can't. That thing can't move. It was just a. I feel that you have not completely let go of whatever was troubling you to create that.
That could be. It still haunts me to this day, so it's hard to say I've gotten over it quite yet or understood it fully.
Well, unfortunately, from one fellow German to the other, it is very difficult to find those who do not believe that we are going to start a second world war after we got so involved in the first one. But now is a time to create. Now is a time to show the world what we Europeans can really do. And I feel that you have much, much more potential in you. Are you a great artist right now? I see it. I think you can be even greater. And you must learn to let go. And sometimes the best way to let go is move away from it. And I feel you're still too close.
How much farther can I get? I'm in cowboy country. I've never expected this.
You're still in country. You're not in the wilds. You're not as far as you could on American soil. He then opens his jacket and reaches in. He pulls out a gray envelope and he hands it to you. I am making a recommendation. not just as a fellow German, a fellow artist who felt stifled. I had to get away. I found a place, a unique place.
Have you now? Tell me more
Yes.
about it.
Do you take the envelope from him?
Oh, yes, I quickly grab it from
As you grab it, you see it's already open, and you see what looks like um, a mix between a brochure and a flyer inside of it. And obviously, the dope, he probably wants you to look at the contents inside. And you open it, and there's a there's a brochure slash flyer for a location. Come to beautiful Cork Isles. Come to the Boraltis Hotel to experience the majesty of the Alaskan wilds. And there's a picture drawn in in uh, in beautiful kind of calligraphy style of a mountain, and on top of that mountain looks like a large house, and sprouting from the top of that house, surrounded by a moon silhouette, is a clock tower. The writing is just above that. The Boraltis Hotel. It's almost as far as you can get before you're standing on nothing but tundra, and among nothing but wild beasts of the untamed Alaskan wilds. And yet they have luxuries that accommodate creatives like you and I.
it. Well, that does sound pretty good. And I could get some new inspiration while I'm up there.
Exactly, I did. You recall, as infatuated as you are with this gentleman, that there was a period of time where he did just kind of drop off the face of the earth for a year or so. No one knew where he went. Um, there was even rumors that he had succumbed to creative calamity and committed suicide. But when he returned, his art had a far more abstract, which was already abstract of the era style. And it's one of the things that inspired you about it. And he says, I refound myself at this hotel. I refound myself middle of a blazing storm during colder seasons. I would suggest that you go there and see if you could find what I found.
Well, then I think I need to make arrangements as we speak.
I would wait on that, he said. He stands up. He puts his sun hat. He puts his wide brimmed hat on his head. As I said, the colder months are surprisingly far more better for a mind that must isolate itself from the hustle and bustle of the outside world. We are currently in summer. I suggest you save up, maybe have a few more fruit pies to take with you, and join them in late autumn into winter, just as the storm season is starting, but not in the middle of it.
Um, yeah, I just kind of nod. I'm like, okay, okay. Um, if that's what you think will be best, I will listen to you. Um,
It's not what I think
you
is
said in the last,
it's not what I think is absolutely best, my boy. It's what I think will help you discover what is the best. Helps me. And he starts to walk off. And I certainly hope it helps you because I would enjoy showing your creativity to the world upon your return.
and I will say it in German. Um, until we meet again, friend, on the other side.
He stops, he smiles, and he's again silhouetted by the sun in the doorway, much like he was silhouetted by the light from the window behind your station. And you can't space, but you can feel his smile. And he replies to you back in German, and may the next life after that, but not till we meet again. When we meet again. It's been a pleasure, Charles. And he walks out of the building.
As soon as I know that he's no longer there, I would pull out a piece of paper and a some kind of pencil or write like drawing utensil and just start drawing. Um, like do a portrait drawing of him, but do it in try to recreate his style with his portrait from memory.
Okay, so for that, yeah, give me a drawing roll. Well, no, I'm going to say that you actually draw with advantage because you have kept yourself so cool up to this point.
Be a good number. Ooh, look at that. That's an 8.
An 8. Then you got to make one more roll for me. You got to draw. Now you got to draw a sanity roll.
7.
7. Your hands go to work. Almost they've been chomping at the gate since you met Mr. Eric, and your hands just like it's like boom, 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 and you have drawn a portrait. What did you draw? Did you draw like a bust? Did you draw a full body shot? Was he at the door? Was he standing in front of your creation? What do you think you drew? Since you did 8, you like describe to me your sketch.
So I would have drawn when I saw him turn around from like, or what I would have imagined him turning around from looking at my statue.
Mm-hmm.
And I give him this like melting clock looking vibe to his body. And then like the sculpture behind it has like the limbs are more contorted and stuff to kind of give the idea that it moved. And it's all just very surreal, black and white.
This is probably, you know, you can't deny that this is probably the greatest sketch you have ever made. If you walked into an art gallery, more like heck, just even a standard one, you handed that to them, you have a very strong feeling that they would put it up on the wall as it is now, and you're just. I think it finally hits you that you just met your hero and it could not have gone better. You hold on to that sketch, and the seasons go by, and you don't really focus on making metal work anymore or throwing stuff away. You kind of just do stuff to pay the bills and money to get yourself a flight ticket and a ship ticket, and then another personal passage flight, like on like a biplane, to where you need to go. But as you are leaving the town, you make 2 stops, and the first stop is back at the back at the art gallery. And as it's getting chilly, the security guard hasn't even shown up. Um, and wherever the curator is, you really don't see them ever since like the day you first brought in your masterpiece. They have been avoiding you. You just know it, but you don't care. And you that the last your last day in this town, you leave the sketch on the altar, unsigned. And I believe the second place you go is pastry shop.
And on that last day, I would also like to make another drawing.
Okay.
I want to make a realistic bust portrait of the nice girl who I am currently forgetting her name, which is totally in character.
Norma.
Norma. I draw Norma, and I rolled a 20.
A 20. It is not the abstract sketch, which was like literally just a moment of beauty. I also think that you actually had it framed. And was it just a sketch or was it like a painting?
It was just a black and white drawing.
Okay, it's
So
a
no
sketch.
paint, just
The interesting thing about your relationship with Norma was like back when at that moment where you met Maxwell, she was still kind of a child. She was, I believe that she was 16, and she was kind of awkward. She was just kind of like growing into a teenager. These past couple of months, she has really started to blossom. You still don't really look at her in a romantic way, but you know that in a year or so, she's going to be beating the local boys off with sticks and chase them off with dogs because it's the only way they're going to leave her alone. Because and this is reflected in the artwork that you hand over to her as she's working on the counter due to the fact that her mother and father had to go out of town to get supplies for the shop, and she normally she would just be kind of like breathy and giddy, but there's there's a sad to her because she knows you're leaving. But she smiles and she takes the picture and she goes, "It's beautiful, thank you."
and as she's like studying it and looking at it, um, I just like my last thing I want to say to her is like, just know the first person you need to love is yourself.
Well, Mr. Selzen, that's going to be hard. And she leans over the counter, being a little taller now, and she places a quick kiss on her cheek. But I'll try to do that.
I need as many pies as I can get, and I'll pay whatever I can remaining to make sure I can still get to where I need to go. But I definitely leave off with a big bang. Like they could give me 3 pies, and I'll pay for like 20 type deal.
She gives you pay for 20, and she gives you like you ask for 3 pies, you pay for 20, she gives you 5.
Like, why did you too many pies? I asked for 3, but you know what? I'm gonna be gone for so long. I'm gonna keep them. Trying to make it sound like I don't want them, but still obviously wanting them.
She giggles at that, wiping away her tears that haven't been falling down her cheek but have been slowly starting to pool in the corner of her eyes, and she wipes them away and she goes, "Then I'm to make some new friends along the way until you come back."
Until I return.
And she's about to say one more thing. You hear kind of a moaning and a wailing. You know that it's her grandmother. Her grandmother's slowly been kind of starting to get to that point where infirm would be nice. And she goes, "Oh no, grandma's woken up. I have to go and check on her, and I don't expect you to wait. So good luck to you, Charles."
I don't know how to say goodbye. So I kind of nod to her with a smile, and I try and just kind of back out and leave without really saying anything. As I go out the door, a tear will also start streaking down my face. This is probably one of the first times I felt like I found a home for a moment, and now I'm adventuring off and leaving it for the vast wilderness.
But hope to return to it once you find that creative spark that is out there somewhere among the tundra and the trees, and hopefully near a warm fireplace in the hotel that you've booked a room at. And I
Yes,
think
that's very nice.
there's not a bus station to take you out of the small town, but there's a taxi waiting for you. Norma follows you to the door, not in the way that she used to. She was just like a kid obsessed, but in a way that's like she's seeing you off properly. Would come out and wave goodbye to you, but due to her grandmother's wailing, she has to close shop up and go up and share before she can open up business again. And you draw off. So what you don't see and hear is Norma going upstairs, opening the door, and her grandmother is moaning and wailing, but she's not in bed anymore. She's standing at the window, staring at something, and she says, "Grandma, come here. What is wrong? You're not supposed to be out of bed." And she lifts a withered finger, the window, starts tapping on it. It goes to his doom. It goes to the house of the frozen king. She runs over. Grandma, you're being hysterical. Alaska's dangerous, but Charles is going to be okay. Her grandmother turns around and looks her in the eye, and her pupils are like pinpricks. And she goes, "The house of the black ice will bury him," and she faints.
The rats are in the walls. At least, that's what we'd be saying if we were in The Rats in the Walls by H.P. Lovecraft, but we're not. We're playing Call of Cthulhu, inspired by H.P. Lovecraft. But half the racism, all of the phobias. So we had just seen Charles off on his beginning of discovery to reclaim his muse. And unfortunately, he didn't hear the old lady screaming about his doom. But, you know, Charles will know soon enough. Besides, we have other members of this story to get to. And we're going to move on to Washington, D.C., to Harvard University, where one such individual is currently walking the grounds. Third time's the charm. Quinn, would you like to introduce your character, give a description, and say what they're currently doing at the university?
My name is Asher. I am a second-year student at the university, and I am currently between classes, just walking around with a backpack full of books of philosophy and ideas in social justice. And I'm just enjoying my walk before I have to go to my next class. I have my Letterman jacket for the colors of Howard, a red, blue, and gray. And I have a bow tie and a big glasses and curly hair. And I'm just kind of strolling along.
So, not in a rush to get anywhere. You've got the day planned out, pretty much. You've just got some time to get a little cardio in. Just enjoying the grounds. Go ahead and roll me an intelligence. Yep, unless stated otherwise, every major roll is going to be a percentile. Okay, congratulations. You have received a half success. So you actually do hear someone calling to you. Mr. Masons! Mr. Masons! And you turn around and it's a fellow understudy for one of your favorite professors, Professor Graham. It's one of the other teaching aides, Ronnie Majors. And he runs up to you and he's like he's your Carlton. That's the best way to put it. He's all business. He doesn't call anyone by their first name. It's always Mr. or Miss, even when you are fellow students. As a matter of fact, I think he's maybe a year older than you, and he still goes, "Oh, Mr. Masons, I'm so glad I got a hold of you. I went to your dorm, but you weren't there, and then I went to your last class, and they said you'd already left because you had finished the proposal, and anyways, how are you today?"
I'm good. What's the rush?
Oh, the rush! Yes, the rush. And he starts like patting himself down, and he goes, here. And he pulls out a envelope, and he goes, "Mr. Graham wanted me to give this to you."
I'll take it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll open it and see what it says.
written in Mr. Graham's hand in beautiful calligraphy, because on this campus, he is probably the most educated man. He could be headmaster, but he's turned it down multiple times because he just prefers to be in a classroom. He's like, there's a reason he's everyone's favorite, and there's a reason I believe he's your favorite. And, dear Ash, I hate to intrude, but I was hoping that you could come to my office instead of your next period class. I've already discussed it with your professor, so please, do come in. Don't worry, I'll handle the tea. Signed, Anderson Graham.
I'll look back up and say, thank you. I'll deal with this right away.
Good! And then there's just kind of that awkward moment where he's just kind of like, huh?
So I'll see you later.
Oh, yes, of course, Mr. Masons. Of course, sorry. Yes. And he looks around like he's looking for somewhere to go, and then he just chooses a direction and just walks off. So instead of going to your class, you head towards the teacher offices. And you come across Mr. Graham's door. It is closed, of course. He never leaves it open, but even though his door is always closed, it's always open.
It's closed now, though?
Yes.
I'll knock on the door.
Come in! Come in!
I got your note.
As you step into Mr. Graham's office, it's always a little overwhelming because he just has so many representations or remakes of history. There's just various items here, all the way from like primitive man, straight up to like modern era. There's even pictures of there's a Kaiser Wilhelm helmet there. There's pictures of biplanes that have been segmented to show how they work and so forth. And in the middle of this giant, massive forest of knowledge is this wooden desk, and behind it is Mr. Graham. And he smiles and he stands up and he goes, Asher, please, take a seat. And he turns and he picks up a steaming pot of tea and he pours you both a cup.
What do you need me for?
Well, considering how you answer this next, it might be something that'll give you an amazing opportunity. I was looking over your activist rights proposal, your paper. Do you want to tell the audience at home what that all curtails?
I am very active in the Black Civil Rights movement at this time, and so my paper is probably about the expansion and limitation of whiteness as a concept. So I probably included like how Irish people became white at a certain point, and how different levels of people can assimilate into whiteness to fit into this culture.
And as he says, like he's read it, you can't really read his face, so you don't know what he thinks about it. And he's just waiting for you to respond as he nurses his tea.
I worked really hard on that paper. I did a lot of research on it.
Asher, I do not doubt that you worked hard on it. I mean, since you've come here, you have knocked it out of the park, one after the other. I'm not here to tell you that your paper is not good. As a matter of fact, I'm astounded. But I think your paper could bring so much more to the world if you were able to find proof of this.
What is your idea?
What do you know about the Alaskan Russian colonization?
What I know about that.
Go ahead and roll an intelligence.
was 30.
Okay. Yeah, that's a half success. You know a little about it. You know that long before the suffrages and the pilgrims came over to start colonizing and taking the majority of lower North America, that both Vikings and Russian explorers were going up to the more colder areas, and that Russian explorers had actually beaten Nordic people to what would eventually become Alaska. But that's pretty much all you know, because for some odd reason there isn't a lot that talks about it. It's just mentioned in history books.
I'm familiar with the relations between the Nordic peoples and the Russians. Other than that, I'm not well versed in this topic.
Mr. Graham finishes his cup of tea, and he puts it down, and he reaches under the desk, and he pulls out a journal. And I need you to roll a sanity check.
81.
So, as I said with Rose, we're doing this a little differently. Normally, when you fail a sanity check, especially that high, you would have to roll a dice, and it would take away from sanity. But since this is session 0, you're not going to lose any sanity, but you will gain a mania or a phobia based off of this. So, what happens is you suddenly see this book, and your thought just disappears. The journal almost seems like it's calling to you, and you start to hear kind of a mumbling, and you look at the journal, and you almost you see it's leather bound, it's wrapped up, and there's even a smaller book with it that looks like it has a silver key indented into it. And you're looking so close, you can even see the grain of the leather on the book. This journal just takes up your entire attention. And finally you hear, Asher, are you all right?
Yes. What is this?
This is a journal of a very influential Alaskan native philosopher. So you have to write this down on your character sheet now. You have a mania. This book, the moment it enters your hands, it cannot leave it. Anyone else tries to take it from you, anyone else tries to read it over your shoulder, you get super defensive like it's your firstborn. You don't have to roll against that going forward. As a matter of fact, like right now, as he's explaining what it is, you kind of feel the itchiness. You want to hold it. You want to open it and look at it. But it's like the equivalent of the dog seeing the piece of meat and wondering, should I take it now? Shut up, wait. And he's talking, he says, it's the journal of an Alaskan philosophizer who was half of the people. And he opens it up and he shows a sketch in there, and you see a man in a sketch relief that you can kind of tell he's got kind of the eyes shape, the sharp almond shape of a native, but then a very profound nose and lips, and then kind of a melding of a rounded yet thicker chin. This man is obviously the product of blacks and Alaskan natives. And you see a name at the bottom that says Huade. His name was Huade, and he is choreographing in his journal the rise and the amazing philanthropy brought on by a Russian noble family that brought explorers to the Corvid Isles archipelago. He hands you the book. Finally, he gives it to you to let you leaf through it.
I'll take it quickly, and I will kind of skim through it, but still listen to what he's saying.
And as you skim through it, you see, it's not written in English. It's obviously written in a native tongue, but at the same time, there's like little sheets here and there that looks like they have like a cipher, so you can decipher it. I have not read it completely because it has only just recently come into my care. But the last scholar who was working on it made some notes. I would recommend that you read through it because what he talks about in this is the Rular family. Very influential Russian family that came through and just brought great prosperity and assistance to an island of the local Inuit people. He chuckles. I do realize, however, that Inuit means the people, so the people. Let me get back on my train of thought. This is proof that you will need for your paper to make it not just a Harvard thesis, but to make it a world changer. If you can prove that this happened, segregation, I believe, will be a thing of the past.
That sounds...
Very hopeful, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yes, I understand that. This is why I wanted to speak to you privately about it, however, because it seems like a fairy tale. But Asher, I know how much this means to you. You know how much it means to all of us, but you have poured yourself into making sure that your studies go to better those who will come long, long after you. And with this proof here, you will be able to prove that long before you were even here, it was possible. Because as you know, those damn cracker motherfuckers. Yeah, this kind of catches you off guard. He normally doesn't talk like this, but it's like, I'm so sorry. So sorry. You know how they love to talk about how we are inferior.
Yes.
How we have, air quotes, skull shape that just demeans us. This is solid proof that no one can deny. That it is not eugenics. That it is hate and love that govern how you treat your fellow man. I want you to take this and go to where it came from, the Corvid Islands. I need you to re-examine your paper, hardly change anything, just include this and bring back proof. I swear this will make the movement a way of life.
This sounds like an amazing opportunity. Would I be funded to go there?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, he reaches down into the same drawer where he pulled out the journal, and he hands you a train ticket. We will cover, well, I will cover everything. The board of directors cannot know.
What about my other studies? Would that be covered as well?
You will be able to, if you want, you'll be able to return to your studies, but Asher, I think after you bring this paper back, you won't need to follow any other studies. You'll be a world changer. You will rewrite history. You will write the future.
Thank you for believing in me.
Oh, and one more thing. And he reaches to take the journal back from you.
I will kind of move it away slowly.
Is there a problem, son?
No, I'm excited to read this.
Well, I was just going to point out that I left some notes in there for you. And hopefully, they will speed up your decryption on your train ride to your plane.
I will... Train?
Train ride to your plane.
I will look at them and I will try my best to do it justice.
I know you will, and your best is all we need. And where you will be staying once you get there, there's only one location on the Corvid Isles that offers bed and food. It's known as the Boraltus Hotel. It used to be the Roulion family's manor home. It has since been converted into a hotel, as well as a tiny museum to the history of the Roulion family.
Are there still members of the family alive?
To our knowledge, the original Russian descendants of the Roulion died long, long ago. Now, the locals who run the hotel are natives of the Corvid Isles. Yes, I believe that the family is no longer of this world.
That makes it a little harder, but it's something I can handle.
Very good. Then I shall inform your teachers that you're off on a trip, my boy. He stands up and he extends his hand to you.
I'll shake it.
He shakes it firm, and he makes eye contact with you. And it gets a little uncomfortable for a minute, but then he's like, I won't keep you. I won't keep you, and he lets you go.
I guess I'll go to my dorm and start packing.
On your way to the dorm, give me another intelligence check.
82.
Okay, that's a regular success. So, as you're going back to your dorm, because now the grounds are like completely quiet, classes have started, there's only maybe you and a few others, and maybe a security guard walking the grounds. And so you're able to suddenly notice you're being followed. And you look back, and whoever's following you just suddenly ducks behind the corner of one of the buildings. But you saw something. At least you saw something move back there.
I will put the book safely in my bag. And I'll go in that direction and say, hey, did you need something?
The man that steps out from behind the corner, you would say they look like a bum who has been around the world twice. This guy has a hulking backpack on. He's got a tattered storm coat that looks like it's been sewn back together multiple times. His face and hands are filthy. And he walks up to you and he says, you have something. You have something that you should not have. I'm going to only warn you once. Give it to me.
What do I have?
Don't act stupid. Give me the book.
What do you know about the book?
The book is going to be your end, boy. Give it to me.
The book's my future. It was just handed to me.
It's been handed to many individuals like you over the years. I can't explain. You're already in too deep. Trust me. Give me the book. I'll go my way. I'll get rid of it. Give it to me.
Who are you?
Hamilton Ark. Paranoia investigator.
I personally don't believe in the paranormal. So I don't see why I should listen to you. I was just given a great opportunity and I'm going to take it.
Give me a dodge roll at disadvantage. So you're gonna roll twice, you're gonna take the lower one. Or the higher one.
77 and 7.
Double 77s.
Or just 7.
Okay. Okay, so as you're just like, we're done here, I don't have time, he grabs you and he like moves quickly and it's like, you did not even see him. This backpack, he should be like laid down how big it is. And he slams you up against the wall and he goes, you have no idea what you're messing with, boy. You have no idea. And I have to take it from you, but you have to give it to me. I'm trying to save you. You have no idea what kind of danger you're in. And he leans forward and he says, the Prince of the Black Ice is not forgiving.
Is he white?
What? This actually throws him.
I'll ask the DM. Is he?
Oh yeah. He's of Nordic heritage.
This is a great opportunity for my people. I will not let you take it away. Too many people have done that.
He lets you go. And he walks away. I guess it is yours. And I can't take it unless you give it to me. And as he's walking up the campus, he goes, but this is an opportunity. You're gonna bury us, boy. You're gonna bury all of us. The freeze is coming. Runs off as the security guard finally notices him and chases him off campus.
They try everything. And I'll just keep going to my dorm.
Okay. So you prepare, you get the smell off eventually, because this guy has, you don't think that guy had seen the inside of a house or a bed that wasn't made of garbage for a long time. But you get ready, you pack up your stuff, and you leave in the morning. So you have time for a nap. Sleep. How long do you normally, are you an easy sleeper, hard sleeper?
Easy.
Easy. So you're bedding down for the night, and your window has a slight breeze starts to blow through it, and it's actually surprisingly cold. You're in midsummer, and this is a really chill breeze that's come through the window. What do you do?
Is it like unbearable, or is it just nice?
It's not nice. It's not like cool. The weird thing is, it's cold. It's starting to get unbearable.
I will go and close the window, and then I'll wrap up in a couple more blankets.
Okay.
And try to go back to sleep.
You close the window, you wrap up in the blankets, but you still hear the wind. And you still feel the cold.
So I'll get up and make tea.
As you get up to do that, and you pull like the extra blankets off of you, you're not in your dorm room anymore. You're in a cave. Freezing cave. And there's the remains of a fire that has gone to ash long, long ago. There's frozen sleet coming in through the mouth of the cave, and there's someone standing at the mouth of it. And just kind of a silhouette, a tall, lanky silhouette. But you can't really make them out because it's not like the light is like bright like the sun. It's just your eyes are adjusting to the white of the snow and the light reflecting off of it. And they're facing outward. That's the only thing you can tell about them. They're not paying you any mind.
Hey, where are we?
And he beckons to you with long, lanky fingers that are bigger than any human hand you have seen.
So I'm assuming I get the sense that this isn't
Yeah,
good.
yeah, but at the same time, what else are you gonna do? There's nowhere else to go. The only way out is the cave.
Do I still have the book?
You do. You
I
do have the
will
book.
hold it tightly,
Mm-hmm.
and I will make my way up there, but I'll kind of try to make it to where it's on the other side of me so he does not see it.
As you try to hide it, whoever this individual is, they chuckle in their dry, crackly voice, and they say, "Where are you lost, scholar? I do not want the journal. I'm merely here to show you your destiny." And as you come to the mouth of the cave, he gestures out, and there's this large cove with multiple ships of varying size that are frozen in it. And yet the water underneath the ice is causing it to constantly break apart, some of the ship goes down, another ship will come up, and then you see that there is on the beach of the cove what looks like a native settlement, but there are no lights, there's no fires. It's just the wind is so strong, and up that you see the outline of a house with a clock tower. The clock tower is the one thing that's distinct. And the man turns to you, and his face is mummified. He has no eyes, his lips are pulled back, his teeth are actually poking through the lips, and he goes,
They're waiting for you, boy. They're waiting for you to help. They just need 2 more players of their game. You should hurry.
and then the clock strikes midnight, and you wake up back in your dorm room.
Is it still cold?
You breathe out, and you see your breath, and then suddenly it dissipates. And it's back to the summer heat. The window is still open, but there's no breeze anymore.
I'll kind of just sit in shock for a while, and then I'll reach for the book. I probably don't sleep well after that, so I will just...
The book was in your hand the entire time. You were clutching it to your chest. You didn't have to reach for it. You probably went looking for it, and then you realized that with your other hand, you were holding on to it the whole time you were asleep.
I think I will try to distract myself by going through it.
Okay.
Reading it.
Give me another intelligence, but also an education roll.
Intelligence is 52.
Okay.
Education is 68.
It's slow going. Due to you kind of understanding what this is with your education. It's just it's a cipher though. You have to figure out how to get the code cracked. But it does keep you busy for the rest of the night until you hear your clock go off, alerting you have probably about an hour before you have to leave. But you spend all night trying, and so the next time you try this, you will get to roll at advantage, and you can choose intelligence or education. Intelligence, the difference between these two is that your intelligence, you'll kind of guesstimate from what you've put together before how to continue, and with education, you will work on what you know to figure it out.
Okay.
Yeah, and right now they're both kind of equal. But yeah, that's how it starts. And as you're leaving Harvard University, what you don't see is a black cat sitting on the very top of one of the schoolhouses, and with their green-yellow eyes, they watch you get on your bus and drive off, and then they step to the side behind a lightning pole. They're gone. That's your intro. That's the intro of Asher Masons. third member of our story, the third chapter to the beginning. So, do you want, before we go into great detail, do you want to, Jack, do you want to introduce your character, give us a little description?
I'm Jack. I'm currently playing Sean Milligan, the Irish veteran from the Great War, former New York City Police Department detective, and now private investigator.
Let's go back to when you were a police officer. Can you tell me how you felt when you stood in front of your apartment building and saw that the door had been kicked in?
It was horrible. I remember the fear running through my body, knowing that my son, the only thing left from my move from Ireland, missing.
And it's not just a feeling either. The moment you step in, you see that the place is completely ransacked and wrecked.
Everything.
And here's the more terrifying, infuriating. You check and nothing of value, like the money you had saved up, a few trinkets that you brought from the Emerald Isle to America, wasn't taken. The only thing that's missing is your boy.
It's the fear. The fear that the one person who understood my grief of losing my wife, James's mother, gone.
As a matter of fact, as we're in this moment, and you're standing at James's bedroom door, and you're looking, and the only thing that isn't wrecked in here, because there's obviously a struggle. It looks as if he climbed under the bed, and whoever took him tore up the bed, grabbed him, and actually went out his bedroom window, because it's actually smashed out. And as you're about to go to the window, you hear someone in the living room. Someone is stepping around on the broken remains of the door.
I drew my gun and turned back out.
Okay, you can hear them stepping, and they're saying something, but they're muttering. So they might have just wandered in, or maybe, heck, they just woke up and they were just sleeping off their drunken stupor. But because the moment you saw the door was kicked in, you just ran through your place to your son's bedroom. He was normally at home alone all day, and he only knew to open the door after you gave the special knock. So when that wasn't given, he did his thing. He bolted the door, he ran to his room, he hid under the bed. And whoever took him knew where to find him, but couldn't take him out the front door. And they might be back, they might be looking for more stuff. You walk into the living room, and there's a woman bent over, picking up the remains of a broken picture frame.
Ma'am, can I help you?
You lost him. Roll me a sanity check as you hear the voice of your wife.
Three.
Okay, so that's actually surprisingly good. You suddenly realize this isn't real. Even when she stands up and she turns around, and instead of crying tears, she's crying blood. She's holding the broken picture frame. You let them take our little boy.
This isn't real.
How could you say that? How could you say this isn't real? This was our son, and he's gone, and he was the last thing we had, and...
He died after the war. You can't beat him.
And then you hear a pounding behind you on a door that's broken, and that wakes you up. Your son's room has been converted into your room. because you kept the majority of his stuff in there. But since you left the police force, you converted your bedroom into an office and your living room into a waiting area since you became a private investigator. You are currently in your bedroom that was once your son's room, and his bed is still there. And you actually fell asleep on it, so you're very uncomfortable. You hear the banging on the door again.
Coming. Christ almighty. I go to open the door.
There's a man in a police uniform there, and as the sun streams in, it's just an outline because you are hungover. It was one of your bad nights. You had a case, and you thought you had a pretty decent lead on this purse pilferer, but he got away, and he also shoved a young girl into the street as a distraction. You were able to get her out, but she was terrified, and it just reminded you so much that your son isn't here. So it was one of your bad nights. You drink yourself into a stupor. Jesus Christ, Sheen.
Sean, for the last time, man.
And that's when you realize that it's actually your old partner, Maxwell. He's still in. He always got your name wrong. But he's probably the only person on the force that still checks in on you.
How are you doing, Max? Come in. I'll get you a drink.
No, it's 4 o'clock in the morning.
I hadn't noticed.
I trust that you haven't. He follows you in, he closes the door behind you, and your waiting room is still kind of like a living room, but now, like, you know, the family aesthetic is gone. It's just a couch, maybe a table, and a chair opposite the couch so that, you know, multiple people can wait to hear from you. And if you had a secretary, this is where they would sit, but, pretty much, yeah. So he lets you sit on the couch, which I think you actually kind of collapse onto, because you're still, and
I kind of fall onto it, like I'm going to like sit on it, but I just tumble over and just start laying there.
Mm-hmm. I heard about what happened last night. The little girl is all right. She sprained her ankle. She didn't even have to go and see the doctor.
Well, that's good. We all know these New York doctors ain't worth a shit.
When was the last time you ate?
What day is it?
It's Wednesday.
He starts counting on his fingers.
At that point, he gets up and he walks into your kitchen, which is just kind of like, you know, space off of the living room area. You're still counting. He opens the fridge. There's just liquor bottles in there. There's maybe he finds some soup, a few cans of soup that you haven't opened yet, and he cooks you some soup.
It's been about 4 days? Oh, wait, no, I had that sandwich last night.
You mean that sandwich? And he points in the living room, and there's a pile of vomit on the floor.
Yeah, that one. That's where I went.
Jesus Christ, Sean. He comes over after the soup's been cooked. Look, I'm not just coming by to also tell you that the little girl you saved is doing okay. I have some information that you might want, but seeing you now, this is way worse than the last time I saw you, Sean. At least you were vertical.
I've just been hot, alright? Every night, it's more and more nightmares, more memories. Tonight, Mary's eyes are bleeding. It's...
Maxwell looks over and he sees that, once again, you have put down the family portrait. So, normally when he's there, he'll reach up and he'll put it up again, and it's a picture of you in your prime, you're in your clean police uniform, you're holding your hat, and your son is standing next to you. And this used to be like your saving grace, you know? It's like whenever it was too hard to think about your wife, you and your son would look up at that picture and know that you had each other. And now that James is gone,
There's once a picture next to it of me and my wife when we first got married in Kilkenny.
and with little baby James, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Born out of wedlock, her parents didn't approve.
Well, it's never the parents' decision. It's what two crazy kids in love want. But then after the war, and the fact that she was a nurse in the war, and that's unfortunately how you lost her, going back to the Emerald Isle was just too painful. So you and your boy came here, and you joined the police force. With your military experience, you became the very definition of the Irish cop, of like, you know, the proof that the Irish can do good here. We're not second-rate citizens, we can contribute. We can even enforce the law. And now you have literally become the poster boy for they're nothing but drunk bums. And you don't care. Why would you, right?
He attempts to sit up, but he's still so fucking hungover.
Yeah, Maxwell steadies you, and he puts the bowl of soup, which is cabbage soup, in front of you. This is all you had, man. I kind of feel a little bad just giving this to you. Do you have anything else?
I haven't gone shopping in a while.
Is that because you've been too busy with your work, or you haven't had any work?
Yes. Oh, maybe? I think I have a case. Let me go check the office. I stand up and I stumble over to the stairs.
Actually, yeah, give me a constitution check at negative. Yeah, disadvantage. So roll twice and take the lowest one. The highest one, actually.
Oh,
95. Yeah, no, you, oh, geez, you stand up and you just, it's like your foot dissipates. You start to sink through the floor until your nose hits it. Ow. Maxwell helps you up back onto the couch.
I do not memorize. Doctor?
Are you asking him if he's a doctor?
Yeah.
No. Sean, it's me, it's Maxwell.
Oh, my bad. Hi, Max. It's been a minute.
It has.
How's the kids?
Oh, you know, off at college.
Yeah. One of them is going to that one in DC. Harvard. Harvard? Harvard.
No. They're abroad. They went back to London.
Oh, yeah.
Their grandmother offered to pay for it, but you know.
Oh, that's really cool, mate. Mate, I sound Australian. I think the impact made him
Yeah, you're
a
dizzy.
little more drunky or...
And that's why you don't really take seriously when he says, look, the reason I'm here is not just to check up on you. I may have information about James's kidnapper.
He kind of shakes off and he puts back the accent. He's like, really?
Yeah. And he looks at you and he goes, you heard what I said, right?
Yes.
What did I say?
You have information about my boy. He immediately tries to like grab a pen, scurrying through drawers.
He helps you sit down because you are just not, you still, your nose is bleeding.
Yeah.
So he's just like, no, sit down. He pulls out his own little pen and paper, flips through it and to an open page and goes, here, hold it if it makes you feel any better, but you don't really have to write anything down. I've got information for you right here, and he holds up an envelope. Now, like I said, this might be information, but it fits the MMO. He hands you the envelope.
He puts the pen down on his lap and he takes it. He goes to the side of it and he grabs a little letter opener and he opens it.
The first thing that you see is the picture of a very disturbed individual, not just because he has a star pattern where his right eye should be, a real nasty looking scar, but his left eye is just the 1,000-yard stare, dude. That thing that serial killers and stalkers who don't need to get inebriated, just have cruelty in them. The rest of him is kind of standard. You can't really tell what nationality he is because he's darker than Caucasian, yet not as dark as, let's say, natives or even African Americans. He looks like a pure nobody. The only distinguishing thing about him are his eyes, for both of their separate reasons.
He just stares at the picture, just focusing on the eyes. He mumbles to himself under his breath. Eyes of the camera.
No one knows what his real name is, but in the files, they call him James King.
Ironic, huh?
Yeah. Well, that's because he claims that he claims he's royalty, and he has been known for kidnapping of anyone. He takes them, tries to indoctrinate them, claiming that they're part of his lineage, and when they don't give in to the brainwashing or the Stockholm syndrome, he leaves them in an alley in pieces.
Where is he?
Well, that's the thing. We think we might know where he is. There's another photo in there that you should look at.
He puts the other one next to him and pulls out another. He pulls out the rest of the envelope.
You can see it. So it's a picture of a crowd stepping onto a train. It's a train station, and it's busy and it's bustling. And in the back, you can see James King automatically because he's facing, even though he's facing away, his scarred right eye is visible. Like he's kind of like turning away like that, stepping onto the train, and he's holding onto the hand of a little boy who's looking back at the camera, and it is the spitting image of your son.
Who took the picture?
That's the thing. We don't know. That picture showed up at the precinct addressed to you yesterday. And there's something written on the back.
He flips it around.
It says, "Catch me if you can." And there's a little drawing of a crown that has the lower half of a skull under it.
He drops it to the floor and it just kind of falls and crumbles into himself.
Now, we don't know if this is real. Don't know if this is real, Sean. Yeah, that looks like your boy, but I mean, it's only black and white. It could just be similar.
If you were to see one of your kids in a picture, do you know what it was like?
Well, this is why I brought it to you, because, yeah, I would. I wanted you to look and tell me that was him.
He gets up and he goes up to his room, and he starts changing. He comes back downstairs in his really wrinkled white shirt, private investigator's badge, black tie, kind of tied correctly, and his pants and his tall boots.
Maxwell is standing, and even though he hasn't moved to stop you, you can see he's kind of giving you a look like, "What are you doing, man?"
Where was that train headed?
This investigation is being handled by the New York City Police.
Yeah, but clearly he's going outside of New York boundaries.
That's why we are picketing the area and to see if we can get any information of where he's going, and then we are going to reach out to the authorities in the other state. We just need a confirmation if that was James.
It's him. You can't deny this to me. This organ. You know this. Let me find my boy.
We will find your boy for you. This is why I came. The chief of police wanted to come and talk to you. I told them to let me do this. Sean, you can't get involved. You're a private investigator now. You're no longer on the force. If you get involved, it could cause a problem. It could cause a mix-up. Also, if it was one of my kids there, I know I wouldn't stop until the bastard was dead and anyone in my way. That's why it's me. We can't risk you doing anything in your state.
Lord, you know what I'll do. Please, give this to me.
That is why I'm asking you not to do anything. Go ahead and roll a intimidation check. No, that you get an additional 15% on that. So looking at the numbers to describe them to you, you're going to want the lower of the numbers. If you roll a 25, that's a kind of a regular success, because you're both rolling intimidations. He's trying to intimidate you to stop, and you're obviously intimidating him to get out of the way.
So I rolled a 59.
A 59, and he rolled a 26. Now he doesn't have stats, but he got the lower number of the two, and you're just drunk with that 59. As a matter of fact, I think you're about to like go full bravado, like, you know, oh, it's knuckle dusting time. And then suddenly the soup decides, I don't like it in here. And it comes back up, and you vomit at his feet.
Please.
I understand, Sean. I understand. That's why I'm asking you. Don't do anything reckless. Get better. Get better for when we bring your boy home. And, no, I don't think you have to roll for that. When he says it like that, up to this point, everything else he's told you is true. We're going to do our best. We have to take control of this, even though I don't want to tell you this. But the moment he says, we bring your boy home, you know he's lying. Because he's not for sure if your James is still alive with King. You just know this. But he says, thank you, Sean. Please, drink some water, get some decent food. And he reaches into his pocket and he pulls out $10 and he gives it to you. Yep.
He takes it and he chucks it behind him into his coat pocket.
He offers to help you up, but yeah.
Got it. I'm an adult. He pushes himself up. If he stands up, he dusts himself off. We'll be around. I got clients.
Yeah, they're just busting down the door today.
I push past him across the hall into my old bedroom and my office.
Yeah. And he lets himself out, and you hear him walk down the stairs of the apartment house that you're in, and you realize something. He didn't take back the photos. They're still on the floor.
I look out the doorway of the bedroom onto the couch.
And he's just still walking. He's walking away. You don't think he's noticed that he's left evidence.
I walk over to the couch and I grab the pictures and I fold them up. I put them in my pant pocket while he's still walking out the door.
Oh, he's far gone after you realize this. You're alone with the pictures. You don't have to pretend.
I fold them up, I put them in my pocket. I go over to my coat rack, I grab my trench coat. I go over to the seal where the family photo is.
Mm-hmm.
I flip it up. I touch my father's flat cap and I take it. It's on his green hat and I walk out the door to the train station where the picture was taken.
Okay. I assume you're going to be doing a little investigating. We'll go ahead and, well, what are you going to do first? As you get there, it's bustling. It's the New York City train station.
I get out of the taxi. I tip the guy the 10 that was given to me for food by my friend, but I used it on the taxi.
he says, he goes, bless you, sir. And he drives off. Although I would have used it to get a clean shirt.
I walk away and I just call him a twat. And I walk inside Grand Central Station and I'm like, what a shithole.
Actually, I think Grand Central Station at this point in history is probably one of the...
It's the nicest train station in the world.
Yeah, but you're also still nursing a you probably have a headache and it probably wants to kill you because of your blurry vision. But so as you enter Grand Central Station, you see a couple of. It is busy, but the three things you will notice is that there are a few ticket booths open that don't currently have customers, and the ticketer is sitting behind them. There's a few. It's not postmen. What's the term? Posters? No, what is that? I just had it. Porters. There's a few porters walking around. Some have little, information where their name tag should be, and they're telling people a few things. And there are a few that are by themselves. And also, you see patches of, obviously, homeless people in certain areas. They're just cluttered together, and they're strength in numbers and stuff like that.
I walk over to the information guys.
Okay. You walk up to one. He's just seeing off a family. He's just pointing them off towards the train, and then he sees you. He gives you a big, toothy grin, and he goes, "Hello, sir. Can I help you today?"
I reach in my pocket and what can you tell me about this?
Well, those are pictures, sir.
I'm aware. Don't fucking sass me, boy. It's true.
Well, then you probably shouldn't be drinking, sir, because I can smell you from here. He's looking at me that smile.
My accent starts to come. I flash in my private investigator badge. This is for a case. Kidnapping, in fact. If you want to joke around with me, I can go talk to someone else who's in charge of you. Now,
Sir, my whole point is to help you. Let me see the photos. He looks through them and goes, "Whoa, he's a looker, isn't he?" And okay, so I don't recognize him. I would remember if I saw this face. I do recognize that train though.
okay, where was it going?
Those lines normally go up to the higher states. I can't necessarily say where this train was going, but I can tell that this is obviously a blue line. So if you want to check out the times for the blue lines, and he ushers you over to a big placard that has multiple changing flapping times and stuff like that, all with different colors on them. He's like, that's primarily a blue line, but we have a few gold lines that go through that way as well.
He just stares at this picture. The drunkenness is wearing off a little bit at this point.
So there are multiple lines. There's and they're all going up to far-reaching places.
Where it goes through the northeast states and then the north.
Yeah.
Oregon and then some even into Canada.
Some even into the wilderness known as Alaska. Yeah, the blue line and the gold line is the one that goes through all of them. The blue line is just straight forward to certain locations, and you see that there is Montana, and then there is Michigan, and there's also Oregon. One that goes through Oregon to California, and then one that goes through Oregon to Canada to Alaska. Is there anything else I can help you with, sir? Well, you could check with the ticket booth and see if they recognize it. Yeah. Have a good day, sir. Go ahead and roll me a intelligence. Okay. You got a half success. That's good. As you're walking, you're about to head over to the ticket sales, and you suddenly notice one of the homeless guys is staring. And he's not trying to get your attention, but he's also not breaking eye contact.
I eye him with the corner of my eye as I walk over to the ticket booth. I make sure to make a scene of pulling open my coat to show my gun and then bringing it back around.
The moment you show him the moment you show the gun, he kind of pulls away from the group and starts to wasn't looking at you.
I pull my jacket back and I turn over to the ticket booth. How are you doing today?
The lady behind the counter goes, "Oh, you know, sir, same does. In and out. Busy day, and it's only just started. What can I do for you?"
Ticket guy, information guy. Now I'm tired. He told me that this train was the north train. I'm searching for a missing persons case. I'm a private investigator. Can you tell me which train this was?
They show her the picture.
I put the pictures down. I slide them out.
Well, I would assume he's already told you that that's a blue line. No, this is definitely a blue. This is straight to, yes. This is the one that runs through Oregon and straight to Alaska, sir. Train 278.
Thank you. When's the next one of those?
Oh, sir, not for another week or so. That's a very rarely traveled train ride.
Perfect. Thanks. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Yes, sir, you're welcome.
Pictures and he walks away. He leaves the station and starts waiting outside for a cab.
As you're waiting for a cab, you hear,
There's a quicker way to get to Alaska. If that's where you really want to go, son.
I reach behind my coat. Yeah? How's that?
Well, if you shoot me, I don't think you're gonna know.
I turn towards the voice.
it's the old man you saw before. Scruffy beard, homeless clothing thrown over him to make like makeshift warm against the cold as it's starting to. No, actually, it is summer, but you know, he doesn't have a house, so it gets cold at night. And yeah, he's standing there, and he says,
Why you want to go to Alaska? What's it worth to me?
I'm working a case. Person's life could be on the line.
Either you haven't been in this city long, or you just don't know. You just don't think it. Everybody's life on the line here in this city. Heck, my life on the line. I haven't eaten in days.
Neither have I. As I say that, I pull my gun. I go, "You're gonna tell me what you know about it." I flash my badge.
"Go ahead and roll me an intimidation." Yeah, at advantage. 3, and what was your success rate? 15. No, that's 15%. Your success would have been a 25. He also rolled a 9. So you pull out the gun, and you feel like, you know, he goes,
Oh no! Look at that. You know what would really help? If you put bullets in it, son.
and you look, and in your haste, it's not loaded.
I put it back.
Now calm down, son. This ain't the first time I ever had a gun in my face, and also not the first time I ever talked to someone who hasn't been pickling.
And he pulls out a flask and he offers it to you.
I'm good.
You say that? Give it 5 minutes.
Throws it back.
Now, why you want to go to Alaska, son? Now that we got the intimidation and I'm a big, scary private investigator out of the way.
You don't remember telling him you were a private investigator.
I flashed him his badge.
Oh, that's right.
Probably could have guessed.
I'm a big, scary investigator out of the way. Why you going to Alaska, boy? Why you really going?
It's my son. He was stolen.
Yeah, that's painful. That's that bad. And he was a very bad man. I seen James King come through here 2 days ago with that boy. I seen him come through here with a lot of little boys and little girls. And he always goes on the same train. He always goes to the mountains.
My son was taken a year ago.
He came through here about 2 days ago.
It's been a year since he was taken.
I don't know what to tell you, son. I saw that little boy in that picture right there. With that scary, dangerous man.
He readjusts himself and he rubs his eyes.
Now, unfortunately, as the nice lady at the ticket said, that train ain't going to be available for another week or so because the current one got bought out. But I won't be on that train. I like to go to Oregon occasionally to see a few people that claim to be my relatives.
How do I get on the train?
Well, what's it worth to you? I'm gonna help you get your board, but I still gotta fill my belly, and I still gotta make sure that I don't freeze to death on these here streets.
How about a couch and a mess full of cabbage soup?
My own couch?
You'll have to leave it early morning because I got customers.
So wait a second. You're saying obviously you're saying that he could like stay at your place, but you're telling him that you got customers even though you're leaving. My customers come by and just hang out. It's all good. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
Oh yeah, I figured if I'm not leaving for a week to get on that train.
Oh no. You got about a week. You got about a week until the tickets go on sale again. But the train, it leave in about an hour or so. It just filled up. Well, you give me what I need. He holds out his hand. I show you how to get on the train. How to get on the 258.
He reaches behind him, he pulls out his wallet. He pulls out a $20 bill.
That don't look like a couch, son, unless it fold out into a pretty comfy couch.
He looks to him, and he, all right, get in the cab with me. And I get,
No, okay. I'm just saying you can give him. I'm suggesting you can give him your house key.
Boy, you ain't gonna be using it. You getting on to find the boy, right?
if I come back and anything is stolen, I'm coming for you.
Mister, please. I'm homeless and not creepy, but I ain't no thief. I don't take what ain't mine.
He reaches for his keys. He pulls his house key out. Anything's missing.
He takes it from you. Like even though you tried to, he's like,
This way, quick.
he brings you over to the other group of the homeless guys, and he said, and they all look up and they start to get rowdy. He goes,
No. This gentleman cool. You're looking for his boy. That nasty king fella.
and you kind of feel like a ripple go through the crowd. It's like,
Came through here 2 days ago.
and someone goes, yeah, he was heading up to the mountains. It's like,
Well, he heading up to the mountains too. We gotta get him on that train.
and they all start kind of moving as a group, and one walks over to the information guy you were talking to, and it's like,
Hey man, I got a few questions for you. And he's like, okay, buddy, we've been over this. I don't know if there's any liquor vendors here, okay?
and then another one walks over to the ticket lady and goes,
That's a pretty bracelet you're wearing.
and she's like, please, no, don't touch those. And the rest of the group, you're like in the middle, they lead you through, and they take you over to the 258, and instead of going to the passenger cars, they go to the back, and when a security guard comes up to him and goes, hey, you're not supposed to be here, move out. It's like, scatter! And the man you were talking to gives you a bumping push, and you fall into one of the extra cars that's attached. And he waves, and he spins around and slides the door closed. He goes,
Good luck finding your boy. Look out for that king, though. You're a nasty man.
Maybe I judged him too harshly. I say as I find a place to sit down for a second.
Well, you also see that like there is a connection up to the passenger cars. So after the train starts, you can probably kind of wander up there and find a chair just so that you're not sitting in bales of hay with other farm animals.
He's sitting in there and he's like, reminds me of the trench a little bit. I hate the trench. He stands up and he walks over to the door. This slides right open, goes between the cars.
And the train has already taken off at this point, and as the train is leaving, what you don't see is the homeless guy you gave your house key to. He pockets it, and he walks away from the group of other homeless people, and he walks down an alley and he goes,
I done what you asked. I sent him on the path. Can I have it?
and he's talking to a black cat
It's just sitting there, staring at him. And the cat looks him up and down. It walks backwards, disappears into the shadows, and then a solid gold coin rolls out of the shadows. Like, he grabs it and he looks at it. And it's ancient. It's like currency that you haven't seen since Atlantis supposedly fell to the bottom of the ocean. And that's what you don't see. Let's get started. A fourth chapter, a fourth card drawn. Another player has entered this story on the way to frozen borders. Mel, what name are you currently going by?
My alias is Knox.
Yeah, alias is Knox. But who have you been for the past couple of weeks in Boston?
Well, I've been Eric. I've been Salome. I've been Cassiago. Let's see, what else have I been? Frank is the latest one.
Yeah, I think you just got off your job at the grocery store as Frank. You're walking home to your single bedroom apartment, and you walk up the stairs, and the landlord sees you, and he goes, he's a portly man by the name of Leo, and he waves to you and he says, "Ah, Franklin, got tomorrow's rent?"
Yeah, it's coming. I'm just waiting for this darn check to come in.
I hear you. You're always good for it, though. Just remember, in the slot tomorrow by 7.
Gotcha, sir.
And he waves, and as you're heading upstairs, he goes, there was someone who came around here looking for you.
Do you know the name?
Didn't really give a name, but real fancy fella. Was dressed in a fine suit, purple accents and so forth. Looked like a showman of some kind. But he didn't call you Franklin. He kept looking for a guy called Iago.
Huh.
But I said it was the distinct description of you. He just must have been confused, though.
Maybe my brother from another mother? I don't know.
Who knows? Anyways, see your money by tomorrow. You have a good night, Frank.
You too.
And as you walk up the stairs and you get to your apartment, you do anything before unlocking the door and stepping inside?
I kind of want to check to see if the lock has been messed with.
Go ahead
What
and
the-
roll me a locksmith check.
Okay. 26?
26.
I think I have a 16 on there.
Yeah.
Did I roll over?
Well, you're looking at it, and it doesn't look like it's been tampered with. But when you go to put your key into it, it slides open.
That ain't good.
No, it's not, comes a voice from inside.
Who are you?
Why don't you come inside and see, Franklin? Or should I say?
Get the fuck out of here, man. I'm trying to get a living.
How rude of you. Please, step inside. We need to talk, Iago.
Sorry. The door.
There is the man that that Leo described, sitting on the couch with a revolver in hand. Close the door. I must say, Iago, for someone who claimed to just be hired muscle, you're pretty tricksy. You're hard to find.
Kind of like it that way. What do you want?
You know what I want.
Humor me.
You ran off with $500 that was rightfully mine.
Well, you see about that.
Oh, please enlighten me and do sit down so that I know you're not planning on jumping out the window.
Okay then. You see, I got a new gig coming up. And that will be bigger money, so I'm going for that.
Interesting. Your accent has changed since I last knew you. Last time you said you were from London.
Well, have many faces and many parts.
Obviously. That's what made it so hard to find you. I have a new gig coming up too. I've discovered that being a showman is in my blood, and traveling around the country, performing magic tricks for rubes, actually makes a lot of money, especially if the rubes are very rich. I'm gonna need that $500 so that I can get to my next gig.
Let me see. We're a little bit of an impasse, aren't we?
Exactly, especially since, according to Leo, even though you're good for your rent, you don't make very much at your grocery job.
What can I say? I have many jobs.
So what have you done with my $500?
Well, let's see, a little gambling, a little ladies on the side, little weapons.
You know, with the ladies on the side, that actually led me to you. Because even though you've changed your name multiple times, it's really hard to change your face when dealing with a lady, isn't it?
Well, this is my moneymaker here, you see.
Exactly. So here's the thing. I'm going to shoot you in the moneymaker unless you bring me my $500 right now.
Okay. Let me just check around.
So what are you doing right now?
I'm thinking. Okay. What, do I have any weapons on me? Well, that might be bad.
Not on your person per se, but considering that you are a con artist as well, you probably have something stashed around here. Go ahead and roll me an intelligence for like planning.
Okay. So that's both
Yeah, it's both a percentile unless I say otherwise.
Okay. I think you just put them down. There we go. Ah! Okay, let me do that again. 79.
79. You would be able to kind of remember where you put something, but as you turn around to feint that you're looking for money, an issue rises up again. You don't see yourself, you don't see your reflection in the mirror. You see your imaginary friend since childhood, William Rabbithead.
Oh,
He's
great,
a
I'm
nicely dressed
schizophrenic.
individual, but he has a rabbit's skull with all the skin flayed off, save for the ears.
As children's imagined.
Well, since you saw him as a child, he hasn't been very terrifying to you. Anyone else who sees him would be like, oh my fucking god, that guy has a rabbit zombie for a head. And he whispers, like he's kind of following your movements as you move around, but he's kind of like putting his own spin on it, and he goes, you're in a serious pickle now, aren't you, Bugs?
Yeah, put a carrot in it. Eat a carrot or something.
How droll. Always when the trouble comes around, you tell me to stuff it when I'm possibly the only one who's ever gotten you out of every single problem you could not skip out on.
What do you want, Bucktooth?
You know what I want? I want you to make your final wish. And then, we don't have to deal with each other anymore.
As I told you, I'm saving it.
He points, and you see Leo with the gun sitting behind you. It's like,
What could be a better point to say than stopping a six-shooter from putting its mark on you?
Well, I do have money stashed away. I would rather not part with it, but I do have another job coming up.
Yeah, you do. You do. Well, I'll be here if you want to change that.
Shut the fuck up. Get out of my face.
and when you blink and you look again, it's your reflection again in the mirror.
All right, hold on. I'm looking at the toilet. Don't judge me, please.
Fine, you've got 5 minutes.
Okay. I lift the toilet seats, and there's like money in there in the Ziploc bag. And I get that, I get out 50, and then put the rest of the money in the toilet water. So I'll give him the 500.
Okay, so you have 700 in assets.
Yeah.
So if you want, you could pocket the 200 if he's not looking.
Okay.
And yeah, so you give him so you bring in the wet sopping $500, and he goes, oh, Iago, if you
Wait.
know that is your real name. That's shoddy.
What's shoddy?
I know you. Where's the rest of the money that you didn't drop in the dirty toilet water?
Yeah, $5.
Go ahead and roll an acting for me.
Okay. 32.
30. Ooh, 32. Okay, so that's
Did I actually do it?
yeah, not only did you do it, you got a regular success.
Okay.
So now I have to roll and see what his reaction would be. Perception versus perception. I'm gonna do. Oh no, I think the whole thing with like the water and stuff like that, it's just kind of thrown him off. So he goes, $5 measly.
505.
Oh, you actually.
I gave him the 500.
Oh, okay, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, but I'm gonna have to try this out, and I'm gonna have to also. He clicks the hammer back on the revolver and sticks it out. I'm gonna have to teach you a lesson for messing with me, Yako. No one fucks with a Parson Harrison himself. And it's at that moment you hear a noise on the windowsill, and you both look momentarily, and there's a black cat sitting there. It obviously jumped onto the windowsill from down somewhere. He's distracted.
Can I run?
Here's what you could do. You can try and you can do a dodge, you can try and grapple him, or you can try and grab the gun.
I'll try to grab the gun.
Okay, so that's going to be, you could do strength, you could do dex. Whatever he does, he's going to do the opposite of.
Okay, I'll do dex then, because I
Okay.
have a higher dex. I need to roll under, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Please. 44!
44, yeah. Okay, so that's success. He will do a strength contest. No, he does very poorly.
Yes!
So as he's looking away, what does it look like as you remove the revolver from his hand?
Now, just take that.
So you actually grab it, okay. And he turns back to try and grab it from you, but like it slips out of his fingers. Now you have a 6-shooter revolver.
Nah.
He puts his gloved hands up and goes, oh, wait a minute, Yako. Wait a minute, Yako. There's no need for this. There's no need to teach me a lesson.
You sure about that? You tried to teach me a lesson a few minutes ago.
You're the one that wronged me. I never wronged you. I'm just trying to set the record straight.
You wronged yourself by being born. Hand over the money. And get the fuck out before I change my mind.
And really quickly, roll me a sanity check.
Cool. Let me check my number.
I'm looking at your sanity right now. I'll tell you if you get it or not.
Okay. 71, I think I did.
You did not.
Fuck.
So as you're saying, get the fuck out, and I genuinely feel like you are a good person at heart, even though you do kind of swindle people. You're probably far more decent than this guy. You're giving him a chance to leave. But as you say that, you hear Harvey's voice in your head. That's not smart. And you feel a twinge on your finger, and the gun goes off. And you shoot Leo right in the head. And he looks at you, his eyes kind of fade, and he goes, that's a terrible magic trick. And he just falls backward on the...
Fuck. Ah, shit.
And then the cat is gone. The cat screeches and runs off. And you hear Harvey go, you really should have used your wish.
Oh, fuck off, Bucktooth. I'll be back. Yeah, I know, with the freaking carrot up your ass.
You hear someone in the next apartment over, what the fuck's going on over there? Someone goes, call the police. There's been a killing. There's been a shooting. It's all crazy gangster shit.
It's the television.
Is that you, Franklin?
It's the television.
Oh my God, I think Franklin shot somebody.
Oh my god, fuck. Okay, so I need to get my stuff and leave.
Well, if you leave with your stuff, by the time, as you're leaving, people are going to know that if someone knows that Franklin shot somebody, but there's currently another unused persona here. Leo's not using his suit anymore. It also looks like he's got a bag.
That's very smart. Okay, I get his clothes off.
Go ahead and give me a disguise check really quickly.
Cool.
Oh, wrong.
I got.
Wrong one.
I just like look at it for a second. Wait a minute. 8.
8. Okay. you move fast. This is a super success. So it's like because your lowest is a 9 on disguise. You got an 8, so
Oh my god.
you move super fast. You've done this before. There have been instances where you have to swap out in an instant. And suddenly, Leo is laying on the floor, buck naked, and you are putting the finishing touches on your showmanship makeup. You've got the bowler hat, you slick it back over your hair. It's like the suit was made for you, almost. You and Leo are almost very similar size, despite the fact 10 difference in years between you. But yeah, you look at yourself in the mirror, and you look
Snazzy.
very snazzy. You could just waltz right out of here right now, and people would go, "Hey, who's the guy in the suit?" But they wouldn't be looking for Franklin. And as you're about to, you notice that there's something sticking out of the pocket of the suit.
Can I check this in the pocket?
You pull it out. It's actually 2 things. One, it's a card with the name that Leo was going by for his magician persona. The great Preston Hellinger, magician and psychic extraordinaire. That's your new face now. And you also notice that the other is a pamphlet for a train ticket to Alaska. Apparently that's where Preston was going now. So you have, not only do you have a new persona, you got a ticket to Hop Town. So it looked like as soon as he got the money from you, he was going to plug you and just leave Boston. And so I guess that's what you've got to do too. You make your way outside. Crowds are already starting to gather, but they don't even look at you as you walk past them. And you see your landlord going. It's like, thought he was a good kid. He always paid his bills on time, but if he shot somebody, hey, you mister! And he points at you for a minute. You were looking for Franklin or Iago, right? What happened up there?
I know.
Oh. Okay, and he turns back and he's talking to someone. Just as the cops show up, you waltz off. And as you're heading towards the train station for wherever destiny you're headed, you'll probably make it up on the way. What you don't see is on top of the building, the black cat is watching you as you walk along. And Harvey is standing next to him and says,
I don't think you're gonna be able to save the kid. He belongs to me.
the cat looks at him, doesn't say anything, and then walks off. It walks behind like an air conditioning system and vanishes. And Harvey's left on the roof watching you leave going,
You're gonna have to use that wish sooner or later, buddy.